I guess I should probably make another video for this month, not just as penance for missing a month of video creation, but to get back in the game. Well, that's really just the same reason. But anyways, thanks to a mysterious broadcast, I've been able to figure out what to do as the next review. Instead of going into the Twilight Zone or even tackling another Green Lantern, or maybe even a Batman, I'm going to go back to something of my actual proper childhood before I hit the teenage years. R.L. Stine's Goosebumps. And, wait, when did this gnome get here? I haven't seen it anywhere in this house before. I'm sure it's fine. It's the perfect segue into the episode, as it too is about these funny little guys. Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes. Unfortunately, I haven't read the book like Kat, so I won't be doing any comparisons. On to the episode. Like with many episodes, we open to a normal life in suburbia, where siblings can squabble and life is normal. After throwing the baseball over the fence, Joe goes to retrieve it, but gets caught by their neighbor, who is just like a drill sergeant. Even has his own military theme to accompany him. Mr. McCall, the neighbor here, is also played by David Hemblem, who has appeared not only in a Twilight Zone episode, 2020 Vision, but also in some Tales from the Crypt Keeper episodes, and X-Men the Animated Series as Magneto, Master of Magnet. After the brief encounter, their father returns home and reveals he bought a few lawn gnomes the size of a small child. I hope he didn't get them from any weird places.
Hey, let's leave the fighting to the trolls, okay?
In classic Goosebumps fashion, we get a fake-out scare in the first 3 minutes, with the gnomes as well as some chatter about them, like how Joe thinks they're creepy, but his sister, Mindy, and his father both take a liking to it, as well as the belief that this will be his way to win the gardening competition for sure. Mr. McCall comes over to insult the garden essentially, as competition usually does to people. However, this scene does also set up that he doesn't trust Joe one bit. Not only does he not just accept the harsh words like his father does, but he's seen as a pest, essentially, with Mr. McCall already on the idea that Joe is the prime suspect should any damage be done to his garden. Skipping over to night, we get a POV shot from someone small as they go around Mr. McCall's garden and smash one of his melons, and is later revealed to have defaced another one. Joe is immediately blamed, and his father isn't entirely on his side, as he tells him to stay out of Mr. McCall's way. It's a shame he's retired, because not 1 minute later, they cross paths again. But on the gnomes, Joe finds a melon seed and black ink, confirming that the gnomes had something to do with it. It's just a shame that they quite literally reveal it in the next scene, as we see them come to life and leave their spots in the garden. Joe searches for them as creepy laughter and noises serve as our own ambiance for the scene before he stumbles upon them wrecking the garden. However, the gnomes set Joe up for the fall, as they turn back to lawn ornaments once lights turn on, and Mr. McCall finds him standing atop the rubble of his garden. His dad is awoken and comes to see it for himself, punishing Joe with rebuilding and replanting the garden until it is perfect. Come night, Joe begins his master plan of getting proof of the gnomes and their treachery, but forgets a videotape, so he has to go after them and show his family live. His father and mother are of no help, as they are too sleepy, so Joe instead grabs his sister. Unlucky for them, the gnomes surprise them, even with a third, and just sorta mess with them, until bickering amongst themselves, which gives the kids a fighting chance, as they swipe the flashlight, stunning them as the gnomes can't move in the light, even if it is a pretty weak flashlight. But because they ended up on Mr. McCall's garden, Joe uses his light system to freeze them and then decide to just run off before they can get caught. Fed up, Mr. McCall decides to get rid of the gnomes himself and takes one back into the darkness and gets attacked. Come morning, the judges come over to look through Joe's father's garden, but don't award the first place because of one little thing. A gnome made out of Mr. McCall that's kind of creepy to them. And that's the end. To think all of this could have been avoided had one of them called for professional gnome exterminators Hank and Bobby Hill.
We did it, Dad! We really did it!
Not yet, we didn't.
As for the episode, it's alright. No, it really isn't. And being nice about it probably isn't good. A lot of the events are very loosely connected. Sometimes it feels a lot more like a jumping between plot beats rather than flowing from one to another. Though, if I tried to describe it, apparently I create some sort of flow for myself. It just feels weird, is the best way I can put it. You have to watch it yourself. Maybe you won't get it, but I did. It may not be perfect, but it also works, I suppose. However, the sister barely feels like a character, to the point that you honestly could probably just get rid of her and lose next to nothing. The best character, honestly, is Mr. McCall, the former Major, because his military nature is played up really well, but not to the point that it's annoying. He's just kind of fun to watch, and he is played rather phenomenally, especially when he finds his garden destroyed, and you can hear the pain in his voice. It's a shame he gets Gnomes by the end of it, because he really didn't deserve it, nor did he deserve the shade thrown at him by the judges. As for the Gnomes, they're fine. I can see how people can get creeped out by them, and I do like their laughter when Joe is looking for them. It does enhance the atmosphere. But when they talk for too long near the end, that's when they lose it for me. They're annoying little tricksters who can gnome others, and that's really it. Maybe Kid Me can find them scary with their movements and the sudden opening of eyes once darkness has arrived, but current me just doesn't see a whole lot to them. At least the gardens are also rather pretty to look at. But I have to give this episode a 2 out of 10. The only saving grace is David Hemblem's acting as the Major. If you enjoy it, that's great, but I personally wouldn't recommend this episode to anyone. Hope you all enjoyed this undoubtedly short video, and have a good day.